Today was a good day. I played my first Little League game. The other kids were so nice to me. I didn't know how that was supposed to feel.
The world looks different today. The coloring book I've been using are filled with trees and oceans. I didn't know there were trees.
We became foster parents to help enrich the lives of children in foster care and share our good fortune. We had no idea how much the experience of fostering would enrich our lives.
We are the Nassau County Department of Social Services Foster Home Recruitment Team. Please consider becoming a foster parent for children in care. We especially need homes for teenagers and sibling groups.
Once upon a time, there was a girl called Vanessa who was 5 years old. Vanessa enjoys playing with toys, reading, as well as swimming. She enjoys going to school and she loves the colour pink. Vanessa lives with her foster carers, Roger and Lily, who she likes. They have a 5-year-old son, Jimmy, who Vanessa is best friends with. They live in a perfect home in South Woodford, London. Vanessa has a brother, Thomas, who is 15 and is also in foster care. Lily was once a foster child herself and was inspired to give other underprivileged children a better start in life. Roger and Lily ensure they read Vanessa and Jimmy bedtime stories together. This makes Vanessa feel happy, confident and talkative. Her foster family treat her as their own child and involve her in family activities such as enjoying big family Christmases. Lily and Roger give Vanessa lots of freedom, so Vanessa feels comfortable at home. Vanessa doesn't get to see her big brother Thomas as much as she would like to. She feels Thomas may not be happy and senses something is wrong.
Tom has been in foster care since he was 1. He doesn't look forward to going home from school. He isn't allowed to have a key and will have to wait on the doorstep until his foster family come home. Tom gets bullied by his foster brother Luke.
Luke keeps taking my stuff. He's got my guitar.
Deal with it.
Tom is not treated equally in the family. He even gets given different food and it's not nice. Tom wants to be loved, but his foster carers never pay him any attention. Tom is now 18 and has been told to leave foster care. At 18, Tom is legally an adult, but doesn't feel prepared to live on his own.
I was never taught to do things for myself. I'm not ready for this.
Tom's foster care experience has shaped the person he is today. He has become antisocial, confused and angry. Angry with his foster carers and angry with his life. Life hasn't ended up well for Tom. Where does he go from here? How could it have been different?
A foster carer is someone who listens to you, someone who understands you, someone to respect you, someone to treat you fairly and equally.
Someone to give me guidance and advice, someone to help me when I'm being bullied, someone to treat me special.
Someone who sees the good in me, someone who makes time for me, who helps me see my brothers and sisters, someone who believes in me.
Someone who cares about my religion and culture, someone who lets me use the facilities in the house, someone who treats me like a human being.
I'm part of the family, I'm not just part of the scenery.
If you're feeling down or weak, you can always count on me. I will always pick you up. Nothing's ever gonna change. Nothing's getting in my way. I will always hold you up. Anything, come what may. Don't look back, forget yesterday.
Hey, Denise.
Hello, how
How
are
you today?
you?
Good. How are you?
It's awesome. It's been a beautiful day today, 75 weather, California weather in Texas. It can't get any awesomer than that.
Well, we had about, I think it was like 51 today in New York, which is pretty good for a February wintry day. We'll take that any day, any day. So I guess we'll enjoy it when we have it, right?
Right?
There you go. This is Fostering Legacies. That's Denise. I'm Steve. We're here every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a look at the foster care system and sharing some inspiring stories along the way and also talking about some of the pitfalls. And we started off the show before our intro showing a couple of videos, one in the New York area about the need for foster parents, number one. I think that's nationwide. But also a little cartoon animation about foster care. It was shot in England and made in England, but it pertains here. A lot of strong messages. One message I take from it is it's part of the family, not the scenery. I think that is critical, right?
Yes. Yes. It's easy to say that you want to do something than to actually do it. You know, when you're a foster parent, I'm quite sure there's a lot of things that come with being a foster, that comes with parenting that foster child.
Yeah. And as foster parents, we are asked to not only care for the basic needs of a child, but also sit alongside them as they digest the hurt and damage they have unservingly experienced. I mean, it's powerful.
Yes. Very powerful and very true.
Right. I think we have one more quote want to pop up there. My words of wisdom to anyone thinking about becoming a foster parent is to go all in. You will never regret the investment of time, love, and compassion you have sown into the life of a child. Would you agree with that?
I wholeheartedly agree. Those memories you never get back. I remember a lot of the good memories, and that's what I hold on to as a foster child, a surviving foster child. I hold on to those good memories. And so, if a person has the desire to give those memories to a child, it lasts a lifetime.
Yeah. And first of all, I want to thank Lenny Randall, who had a comment, blessed forever. Lenny Randall is a great friend of the network, and he's a former Major League Baseball player. And he watches what we do. We watch what he does, and he does great as well. We love him very much. He does a lot of community work here in Italy, in the United States, and internationally. So, Lenny, thank you for tuning in and sharing the love here tonight. So when we talk about foster care, and we're going to go into it, I was getting ready to watch the Super Bowl yesterday. But before we talk about that, did you watch the game last night? Denise?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Lenny. I did not. You know what? I, for some reason, missed it. But I did hear about, of course, the Chiefs winning, as well as Rihanna and her big debut.
Okay, yes. After 7 years, she came back and played halftime. The big controversy on social media, is she pregnant or not? It kind of looked like she was, but she really nailed it last night. And halftime show is 30 minutes long in between the Super Bowl game. It was very entertaining, 38-35, and it was fun to watch. And the Chiefs did win. Pat Mahomes was the MVP. He was the MVP of the league. And the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. So they're on their way to establishing a dynasty in Kansas City and the NFL for all you football fans. And all the different commercials came out. So I guess you missed that as well, Denise.
I missed the commercials, and I actually love the commercials. I mean, it's nothing like them.
Nothing like them. And you brought up Rihanna about music. So we're going to bring in Anna, our great engineer who puts the show together week after week, and other shows on the network, the Chapters Network. And Anna does great work. She does it from her office and her little cave in New Jersey, and she does what she's doing so well. Makes us look great. So Anna, can you join us for a moment?
Hi.
Hey Anna, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Eating dinner while, doing this.
Eating dinner. Okay. So
Multitasking.
you can
Well,
there we go. Now I know you're a sports girl. You watched the Super Bowl last night, right?
yeah, I did.
I know you weren't pulling for the Eagles, were you?
No, I'm sorry. I have to say it out loud. I mean, as much as I love being from the Northeast and all of that, the Eagles did the Giants dirty twice in a row. And I'm sorry. I'm just always going to root for the ones that really deserve it. And I've seen Patrick Mahomes, playing with his heart and soul and stuff. So, I mean, it was legendary for both. It was historic. Both quarterbacks were, the first time in history, Black quarterbacks. And that's history in itself. So I give a lot of respect to Jalen Hurts and to Patrick Mahomes. However, it's the defeating heart type of pain. So
yes.
I'm gonna root for the Chiefs, and I did so, and I'm so glad they won. So
And they did win, but we have like a little personal connection, you and I, Anna, to the Super Bowl this year because Robert Ham, we interviewed on another show last week, reach out, and he's a son of Warren Ham, but he also served for our country. He's a videographer, a filmmaker for the armed services. He does great independent work, and he was honored because of Tillman, the former Pat Tillman, former NFL player, to be one of the honorary coin flippers last night and captains of the teams. And he was on the field, and we interviewed him a couple of days before he did that. So that was pretty cool watching him last night.
Yeah, I felt like, honestly, even though backstage I only got to like talk to him, like introduce myself and like say hi and stuff. I don't know. It just felt like, wow, this is amazing. Like I just saw this guy like 2 days ago or something. But no, I have a lot of respect for him and for everyone that was even a part of, the ceremony and everything. But just looking at the Pat Tillman Foundation and like the history of Pat Tillman, like that was something I didn't know.
Right.
So the fact that it was brought to our attention, and of course there's also a lot of controversy that's surrounding it. But I'm not going to get into that because one, I have a lot of respect for military veterans and as well as athletes. So to each their own.
But it was really cool having Robert Ham on our show a couple of days ago. We premiered our interview about an hour and a half before kickoff last night, and
I know it feels so fancy, so efficient.
I know, it was really cool.
So fancy. I love that.
And so we're trying to, interview people that are really making a difference. And Anna, when we get these guests, you really put it to life because of the pictures and the videos that they may or may not send, but we add to that and you add the backgrounds and you're very creative and it really enhances the interview, each and every interview that we do. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. So sometimes we escape to music because sometimes this life of ours is very challenging. It could be traumatic, chaotic, hurtful. So sometimes we escape to music. So I thought it would be a good way to share what's your favorite song of all time. And I want to include Anna because we're going to try to include her into other shows on the network. So I'm going to start with you, Anna. Is music important to you?
Oh, wholeheartedly. I grew up with music surrounding me everywhere. So where do I start? Music literally feeds my soul. Whenever it's so cliche to actually say that, music is my life. It actually is. I listen to music almost every day. when I don't listen to music, I feel like I miss something in my routine. I can't figure it out yet. But no, there's some music even in like my parents' culture. They come from Peru. The music is something that you feel with your heart and soul, and something I've learned that even through singing, you just let out all the emotions, and the moment you do that, that's when you realize, oh, it's incredible. Like I feel relieved. um, but yeah, um,
So it kind of takes you away and kind of, during difficult times,
yes,
it might alleviate some of the stress and anxiety. During happy times, you might want to dance around. In the car, you might want to sing.
I will say that lately I've been jamming to Miley Cyrus's Flowers. So
Okay.
I feel a lot of empowerment when I listen to it. So yeah,
That's a good choice word, empowerment, because some of the musicians and performers and artists are doing their lyrics are empowering, and the musical instrumental pieces that are supporting them are really reaching out to so many people. So, Anna, I ask you, what is your favorite all-time song of all time?
well, I'm gonna be sincere. This was a tricky one to pick because there are a lot of songs out there that have shaped my life in a certain way. But of course, I don't know if you guys have seen Inside Out, the movie. There's a spoiler alert. Um, there's there's just so much happiness, and there's a lot of factors that can contribute to someone's happiness. However, sometimes you have to dwell on the sadness in order to realize what you're made of and what you can do to grow stronger and just grow out of it in a sense. So this song that I pick is Patch of Blue by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. um, I will say that song, I've had it on repeat when I was younger, because there was a moment where, before even knowing what depression was, I just felt a lot of solitude. And even though I had people around me that loved me and cared for me and stuff, the chemicals weren't connecting. So yeah, the song really brought me down to earth, and voila, here I am.
All right, well, let's hear a little clip of it.
Awesome.
If you believe in love, take my hand and come along. Loneliness never ends when you're living where you can't belong. Set your mind for a chance to be happy. Let your heart find a way to love. I'll paint a patch of blue on your weather beach and sky for you.
Wow. I love the lyrics. So when you hear that song, what are you thinking of?
Before or after?
Right now, this moment.
Right now, this present moment. Okay.
Yeah.
So I listen to it, and it just serves as a reminder that I need to continue learning how to not put a barrier in front of me and just really accept things as they are. And, just also be grateful to God that, we've made it this far. I've made it this far. And, it's like that part, set your mind to be happy. And I could just go on and on and on right now, but I don't want to get too deep because I know we're on a time restraint. But it means a lot.
It's an awesome song. You connect with it well, and obviously it's something that stays within your heart. Denise, is music important to you?
It is. And first and foremost, I just want to say, Anna, That song made me want to dance. Like, I'm so glad I didn't get out of my seat because you guys hurry up and put me on back on camera, and I'm like, oh yeah, I would have totally not looked so good. But it made me want to dance. I enjoyed that song, and music all of my life has really been a healing modality, I guess you would say, for me. Even when I didn't realize that it was doing that, I could put a song like Anna. I mean, I don't know if that's Steve, do you do that? Like put a song on repeat? Because I'm trying to figure out. Okay, good. So it's just not a girl thing, or
no, over and over and over again.
Yes. So I could put a song on repeat, and everybody in my household is like, Mom, please, and don't drive in the car with me because I'll probably have the same song coming all the way from, for a whole hour or hour and a half drive, the same song, just repeating it, because it's actually the energy that comes through it. It's like this energy that, and it depends upon the moment, and depends upon the time, but the energy that I need in order to persevere, to do what I have to do, to, pull up my bootstraps and, go, is in the music. And there's just not actually a lot of songs, but there are these staple songs that I play on a repeat basis. And yeah, so music is very important. And I also just I got a download like at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, and it was 4 songs, a total of 4 songs, energetic healing songs, and I can't wait to put it out into the world. So I'm about to put some drums on there this month, and hopefully the first song will be out next month. So
wow,
super excited.
Congratulations, Denise. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So what's your go-to song right now?
The go-to song for me and is Oceans by Hillsong.
Oh, yeah, well, let's check it out and then we'll ask you why.
And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. Come on, you make it your prayer. And I will call upon your name, Jesus, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine.
Wow. That's so uplifting, and you can feel the spirit. And when you see that crowd, there's nothing better than a live crowd in unison, feeling God's love or the connection that people have with one another. And that was a great clip that you pulled, Anna. So Denise, when you see that, I mean, what's your thoughts?
Oh God. Okay, so I've listened to the song. Like this is my, and I didn't know why. Now I kind of know why. But this has been my anthem for this year. And it's just, the words are explanatory. Lead me where my feet, well, because at times we sometimes really don't know or have the strength or know that we have the strength to overcome the challenges that are to come. And so with that song, it's like, lead me, because I don't want to be led anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere that I'm not supposed to be. That's number one. I don't want to be there. But if the Spirit leads me and, where my feet can't fail, that means I'm unstoppable. I'm, whatever I am supposed to do here in this life, I'm unstoppable. And so at this moment in time, especially with the, things behind the scenes that is happening in my life, it's like, yeah, I put that on repeat, and you could hear, just like you said, the energy of all the people together. You could hear the woo and all that kind of stuff in the background. You could hear the drums. You could hear the passion. You could really feel the spirit, the energy. And that's what gets me through.
Wow. Beautiful way describing it, and you can feel the energy and passion that you have, and it's so cool to know that you're in transition. You're making great strides in reaching out to others in the different things that you're doing now, and then that song energizes you, it motivates you, it charges you up to get to that point, those hour drives, and that's such a cool thing that you're involved with.
Oh yeah, those hour drives are nothing. I'm getting ready to go to Japan next month, and I'm with 6 and 7 year olds. Well, I do. My 20-year-old is going to come too, but just imagine us all in the car for 11 hours. I'm trying to figure out how I could break that up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go crazy. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna make it.
I think at that point you should just play Oceans.
I know, right? They're gonna be
repeat.
I hope I can make it. It's like I have to do that twice. Like, wow. And I'm like, what am I gonna do?
And Denise, just so I don't know if you figured this out, but you can't drive from here to Japan. So.
I wish I could, but no. And that's another thing. Oh, the plane ride. Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
I think I'm gonna be great. You know, it's gonna be a great time. But those hours with 6 and 7 year olds,
it'll be wonderful. It'll be wonderful.
Pray the Spirit.
Great songs for us. Great songs for us, ladies.
Spirit lead me,
please. So anyway, I know everybody's gonna know this and stuff, but I'm actually curious to know what Steve's favorite song is.
Ooh, that's a good one. What is your favorite song?
Yes.
I have a bunch of them, but when it gets down to it, I am a Foreigner fanatic, the band Foreigner, but not because they've helped me during the foster care system. Sometimes athletes and musicians' songs have gotten me through tough times. And this is a song that came out right around my high school graduation. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But this is a song from my favorite band, their only #1 hit. And let's play it, and then I'll tell you a little story behind it. But it's Foreigner, Lou Gramm, and Mick Jones who wrote the song. It really hits home in so many ways.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was over here just grooving, and then musical chairs. The music stopped.
And you know what? If you watch that little video clip, thanks, Anna, for choosing that one out. But it's about bringing people together. And when not too many rock bands have choirs in songs. And when that song came out, that was Foreigner's only #1 hit. But it came out during a time where there's like some racial divide around the country. And it came out, and it helps heal. I believe songs like you both picked out, and this song helps heal, because when I'm down and out and I hear a song, we all want to know what love is. We all want those people that are hurting to know what love is. And we all define love differently. And when we talk about the kids in the foster care system, they're trying to find what love is and who they should love and how they should love. And to me, when you see people coming together like that little video clip, I think it just says a lot. I want to know what love is. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies.
Yes, thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, Steve.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So Anna, thank you so very much for sharing the love, and maybe we'll see you down the road on the show later on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to talk about my high school. Especially when I work in it.
Okay, so stay on then. Let's stay on here. Let's go. I was going to watch the Super Bowl I did watch the Super Bowl last night. And they have a lot of pregame stuff before then for hours and hours and hours of video. I didn't feel like watching it. My favorite team is not in the Super Bowl. I don't want to watch videos and film of former Super Bowls past. So I was looking at the documentaries, and there was a documentary that had to deal with the foster care system. And one, it's called Aging Out. And I'm going to show you the trailer, and then I'll tell you a story. What I really watched, I didn't watch this one. I watched another documentary that preceded it. But let's check out the trailer for Aging Out.
Over 500,000 children in America live in foster care. Most return to their families or are adopted. But every year, about 20,000 young people age out of the foster care system. What happens to these veterans of foster care once they're on their own?
I've grown up with over 10 different families ever since I was an infant. How am I supposed to have feelings towards having a family? And I'm aging out, and I'm an adult, for crying out loud. The only way that I'm gonna make it is if I do it on my own.
I now have a son, and I have a mate, and we need to be a family in our own home.
How come we always have it more difficult than others?
Because we're in the system.
I'm the only one from my whole family who's gonna graduate from high school and not like prison or something.
I want to get somewhere, but there's so many obstacles. I'm lost.
Aging out now is scary.
This is the story of 3 young people who struggle to fend for themselves once they age out of the foster care system.
It's powerful stuff, because when you age out, you don't know where you're going to go next. You know, at 17 or 18, if you're in the foster care system. And that little trailer I was intrigued by yesterday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I couldn't find it on the streaming source. I went to one of the streaming sources, and I found another video that I wanted to watch, and it had to do with Risa, the young girl that aged out, that graduation. Look at that smile. Look how happy she was. And I was reading the documentary trailer, and I want to play it because Risa, a year later, from that graduation pose, was murdered. And let's check this out, this other trailer that highlighted that murder in Risa's life.
Risa Bejarano was the subject of a documentary on teens aging out of foster care.
Aging out now is scary.
A year later, Risa was brutally murdered.
This ranks as the most violent case that I've handled.
Unexpectedly, the film about Risa's last year of life became the centerpiece of a trial that would determine whether her alleged killer would live or die.
The death penalty was made for a case like this.
It's a trailer. When I saw that, I had to watch that documentary. It was an hour and a half, and I broke down a couple of times watching it because I have 2 daughters. I aged out. I know other young ladies and professionally that were aging out of the system. I know we've talked about on our show, Denise. So when you see a young girl at 17 or 18 murdered a year, less than a year later, I mean, what comes to mind?
It could have been me. It could have been me. There's been many a times that especially as male, female, being unprotected in the world, in society, is a danger. But as a female, I feel like it's a little bit more because there's more prey. Not to say that males don't get preyed on, but females get preyed on. And so when I emancipated out of the system, when I aged out, I guess you would say, it was scary. It was very scary. And people, you would think that people would be nice and wanting to help. And no, there was a lot of, vultures and, snakes and creepy crawly things. So, yeah.
And you, Denise, in prior shows, you shared with us that you actually dropped out of high school in 10th grade.
Yeah, I didn't make it.
Talk about that decision. I mean, you must have been going through so much that you needed that relief to establish your own lifestyle.
Well, yes, I had a child, my first child, at the age of 15, and hence I was still in foster care. I was in. I didn't get pregnant when I was in the group home, but I transitioned to a group home after I got pregnant. I had my daughter while I was at the group home, and the group home that I was in, what they cared most about is, that I worked 2 jobs. And the reason why I did work 2 jobs is because even though that the group home was there and they were supposed to be taking care of my daughter and I, they weren't even buying her clothes or wipes or diapers or anything. And so I had to do that. And so even with clothes for myself, I had to do that as well. And so I had to work I felt like I had to work the 2 jobs. And when I talked to my social worker about it, it was, oh, you're just lying. You're making this stuff up, and it was no help. And so I eventually did go and move to another foster home, which ironically shouldn't have been, but it was my daughter's father's mother's house. And that was just a situation that was not really a great situation. And I eventually had to drop out of school in order to support my family as well as theirs.
So, Denise, does it give you great pain to go through this, relive it? And how did you turn things around? How did you have that inner strength to cope with what you were facing?
That's a great question. Maybe I was insane because, just looking back at it and thinking about an actual 15, 16-year-old, what's supposed to be normal. I think what really helped me to get through it is that I always looked at myself in a version of myself that was much better, in a better space, in a better place, successful, happy. And I just was trying to get myself as well as my daughter to that space. And so that's what kept me going. The version of myself that I saw in the future. And also just my own faith, my own belief in myself. I knew that I knew I deserved good things. I knew I deserved love. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the places that I thought it should be. And so it was a lot of trauma and it was a lot of pain, but music also helped me through that.
Wow. This is Fostering Legacies, and we're hearing Denise's story. Anna, what's your take on what Denise is talking about?
Honestly, I really do commend you a lot, Denise, because I cannot imagine how that type of the cards that you were dealt with. I'm at a loss of words, because it's one thing that through media and through other outlets, I would learn what foster homes are, who can qualify to be foster parents, and to actually hear a firsthand account of somebody that has gone through it, it's really, like, in my case, it's nerve-wracking because I try and put myself in your shoes to really understand how you feel. But then, like, I have to retract myself and really just say, everyone has their history, everyone has their life, and from there, it's I just I can't really put all the words together right now because I personally think that whatever you went through, it made you into the person that you are. And I'm sure, and I'm hopeful that your children are proud of you, of the mother that you are. because I sincerely feel that you really did deserve to have a great mother in your life or a parent in your life. However, you're becoming that parent that you wished you had. So I really do commend you on that.
Wow.
Thank you, Anna.
And you know, Denise, when we set this journey off to do this show, was really to highlight the foster care system and travel around and see how it's dealt with within each state. And we're doing that right now. And so I admire you, and I'm so thankful that we're friends and we're on this road together. And I know this is not easy, some of the things that we talk about and discuss. And I look at Risa, who is graduating, and she had a whole life ahead of her. She went into the foster care system and she had high hopes. She didn't know where she was going to go, but she had the strength and the love behind her of a foster family, and then she was murdered. Anna, I know you didn't go through the foster care system, but how was it like when you graduated, that moment? Did you think you had your whole life ahead of you? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you excited? What were you going through?
Well, honestly, it was a great mixture of a lot of things, of a lot of emotions. I know for one, I was very nervous because I think in that moment, I didn't know what college I wanted to go to because I hadn't received an acceptance letter. But I think a few months after I did receive it, and I was like, okay, now I can believe that I have a path in my life. But I don't know. I remember also just looking around and saying, do we all really have our lives set, or do we even know what's going to be out there? And it was a lot of mixed emotions, but I was also very happy because in my own nuclear family, you know, my parents and my brother, he was still present with us during that time. And I just remember thinking that the rose that my brother has in his hand right now, right there in that photo, I remember I gave it to him. I gave it to him saying, you never got a high school graduation. You did receive your GED. I do remember that, but you never had a proper high school graduation. So I'm giving you my rose because you graduated with me. And he just looked at me and he was like, are you serious? I'm like, listen, we're having a nice, kind moment right now. Please just accept the rose. But I think in that moment, I thought I had my life in place because what more could I ask? I had my parents, I had my brother. I think in a sense, I really did think I had my life set. But then, like, once college came around, and then all of a sudden, you know, when I lost my brother, that's when it hit me that as a sibling, am I really an orphan? Like, how do I express that I lost my other half? And of course, my parents, somebody could understand and like just say, yes, you know, there are parents that have lost a child and there's a word for it. But there isn't a word for siblings. So I think in that moment, it was like a whole full circle after I graduated. And then I realized, you know what? I really have a sense of building a legacy. I need to build a legacy. I need to continue my brother's legacy. And what did I do? I went back to the same high school that I graduated in, and I'm currently working there. And just...
I'm sorry, one word. How would you describe your brother?
See, I really don't want to say a word that is so overrated, but honestly, my brother was really one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
He really was. And
Yeah.
he made a difference. I know that I didn't know this until he passed, but there were people that he had met through his last employment, and apparently he had made a lot of friendships. And there was this elder woman who was working there, and she had arrived to the funeral services, and she had told us that my brother was the only one during lunch, their lunch hour. Um, Whenever she sat by herself, he actually was the one who walked over to her and said, "Would you like some company?" And literally spoke to her, which nobody had done since she started working there. So that's when I realized, wow, I had a whole different picture of like who my brother was, and of course, I will always love him for that. Um, but it's the stories that I hear from other people that have a good memory and or an amazing memory of my brother that really sticks around with me.
Anna, thank you for sharing, and Denise, thank you for sharing. I mean,
So beautiful.
obviously it's emotionally charged, and it's hard to go back, but we need to keep those that legacy alive. And I'm completely honored and inspired what you do each and every day. And Denise, what's your thoughts about what Anna was sharing?
I don't know what it is to lose a sibling. And my siblings are older than me, and I didn't actually even know I had siblings until I was 28. And so I feel robbed in a sense, but I do know how it is to lose somebody that's significantly close to you. And it's the worst feeling and experience in the world. So I could imagine what you go through, but also the moments that you were describing of hearing the stories and everything else, that that has helped me. And that is what I try to hold on to, especially in those moments of pain. So thank you so much, Anna, for sharing.
Thank you both for listening, and honestly, Steve, for providing this platform. And at the same time, I've heard your stories, Steve, and you've I honestly do believe you've come a long way, and for you to even like put your heart and soul into um, the organization and the network, and really just believing that I have a lot of potential. That just actually, why can't we do that with the rest of our generation? Um, our the generation today I believe, needs to also feel how much us adults believe in them and believe that they can also reach their potential. And that's something I like to instill in my students.
That's beautifully said. And I'm going to apologize to our viewers because we're not going to get to everything we wanted to get to today, but we're going to continue this train of thought because I think it's important. I grew up in 9 different foster homes and shelters, and in between that, I went back and forth with my mom, who had a chronic mental illness, and there's my mom, and she had MS. She wasn't able to care for myself or my younger brother. We were separated on many times. My only physical fight in life came at a shelter when I was younger, and I lost. I broke my arm, so it was a really devastating time. But when I became in high school, my last stop at a foster home, I was really done with the whole system. I didn't want any more. I just couldn't adapt. I just wanted to be on my own. I couldn't be with my mom. When you look at this picture, I went to Amityville High School in Long Island. When you look at this picture, there's 5 people. That's graduation day. To my left is Christine Corbett. Dave Grafstein is to her left. And then there's Connie and Linda. Now, Linda, I took driver's ed with, and I never saw her after high school. Connie, she stayed in the same town, and we've communicated over the last couple of years. It's been just about almost 40 years since graduation, so it's a long time. Dave Grafstein and I have been friends throughout, and he actually co-hosts a show on our network, Flashback Sports. And Dave Grafstein, when I came to the last high school in my junior year, Dave Grafstein was my first friend and my biggest friend. He got me to wrestle. He got me to play baseball. He knew my story. He was there to support me over and over again. Without Dave, I wouldn't be here today. And to see him on the network, what we're doing, and to be friends with him after all these years means so much to me. Christine was a girlfriend in high school. She recently passed away with cancer. And I hadn't seen her since high school. And when I found out, a piece of you lose a piece of you, because these Dave and Christine and everybody was going through things at that time, and we all supported one another. And Christine was only 57, so my thoughts and prayers go out to her. But that time has made me stronger, and I've learned so much from my experiences within the foster care system that I was determined. When Denise came up with this idea to do this, I was determined to do it. And I watched Risa yesterday, and everybody out there needs to watch this documentary, both of them, because if this doesn't hit home, this could be you, it could be your daughters, it could be your sons. Look at that smile. It was taken away from her. She aged out of the system. She had her whole life ahead of her. And that's when these children age out of the system, they have their whole lives ahead of them. Let's share a little video with Lester Holt, NBC. We're going to put that video in about aging out, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. And we may have to end the show. I think, Anna, you have a song to lighten up the mood a little bit. But let's check out this little interview that Lester Holt did, this segment on NBC.
In the U.S., there are about 400,000 children in foster care. But what happens when they get too old for the system? Tonight in our network-wide series, Unprotected, Inside the Child Welfare Crisis, Antonia Hilton shares the story of one young woman's struggle as she aged out.
Everybody looks forward to their 21st birthday, but in my case, I'm old enough to not have anywhere to live.
Christina Abraham is a child of the foster care system. Born in Harlem, she's lived in New York City her entire life. Her 21st birthday looms like a day of reckoning.
To feel like, I could die tomorrow and nobody would know. Nobody cares about me. And that is a terrible feeling, to feel like you're in a world full of billions of people and your life does not matter to anybody.
Christina doesn't know if her group home will let her stay past her 21st birthday, when in New York, like in most states, foster youth are supposed to leave the system. She hasn't found an apartment she can afford.
I'm looking at nothing, really. Even though I want everything, I'm looking at nothing.
Christina wants to return to Harlem, steeped in rich Black history, despite the pain she endured here.
This is where it all started.
It's where she entered foster care after an abusive childhood. Christina became a permanent ward of the state at 8. She remembers her mom leaving her alone here. Her mother says officials separated her from Christina, and she was not allowed to say goodbye.
You're just a little person. Did you understand what was happening?
Unfortunately, I did, because this had been the second time now.
Christina spends almost all her free time looking for a landlord who will accept a city rental voucher. 21 comes and goes without a party. Nearly 2 months later, good news.
Okay.
She might be able to move into a studio in Harlem.
And this is the bathroom. Me.
Then Christina says the city foster agency failed to submit her housing paperwork in time. She's still living in the group home.
What's it like to still be there? Disappointing. One camera.
Public areas in the home are under constant surveillance. She hangs a curtain in front of her bedroom door.
If you lift it up, there's a window. And so anybody who walks by can look inside of your room at any time.
Overseeing the city's foster care youth is Jess Danhauser, Commissioner of the Administration for Children's Services. He can't comment on specific cases, but did address broader criticisms.
We've seen some of the conditions of the group homes and had descriptions of violence, of a lack of privacy. Is that safe and secure?
We absolutely would not accept that being a place where we want young people to be, in a place that's not safe or secure. My whole goal as commissioner is to make this system more humane. So we're building out this extra support through coaches all the way until 26 years old.
2.5 months after turning 21, Christina finally leaves the group home for good. She now has the keys to the Harlem apartment, but only $150 to her name.
Are you missing meals?
Yes. Yes, I am. I am most times not having breakfast or lunch, but I will have dinner.
To help get her on her feet, a charity called Hearts to Homes gives Christina supplies. Linens, dish soap, a chair. But she has no credit card, no credit score. She has no bed. And her small savings needs to last for almost 3 weeks until she gets a check from her new job.
Sometimes I'm excited to start my job, so I wake up with a smile on my face. Albeit off the floor, but still. Other days, I'm tired.
She's also a survivor and determined. 99 days after she turned 21. Christina invites us to see the very first home she could call her own.
Hi! Hey!
A new bed and food in the fridge feel like a triumph.
And we have my favorite.
When you look out at this version of New York and you're in your personal space, what's the message you receive?
Harlem.
Born again in the same neighborhood, this time with the chance to chart her own path. Antonia Hilton, NBC News, New York.
Wow. Denise, what do you think?
Well, she got an apartment. So I'm like really super when I saw that, and when I saw that they allowed her to stay past her her 21st, her 18th birthday. I emancipated out at 18. As soon as I was 18, they were like, hit the road, Jack, pretty much. And so I was really excited to see that. I was really excited to see that she at least had some support until she was 21 and also was able to get her first apartment. I wish the best for her.
Yeah. Well, we're going to revisit the whole New York thing next week. And Anna, you have a song that's going to hype things up a little bit, right? To take us home.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So this song is called Love Theory by Kirk Franklin. And honestly, I think the lyrics itself will just tell you how much everyone is loved and appreciated. And despite any difference or any obstacle, there's always somebody up there that really is there to lend you a hand.
Yes.
So.
God bless. See you ladies next week.
Bye.
How can it be that you love the most unlovable?